Listen up, because the media world just exploded. Warner Bros. Discovery, the home of HBO, CNN, and that huge movie studio, is officially on the auction block. They confirmed they are checking out offers to sell the whole company, or maybe just massive chunks of it. This isn't just a rumor anymore, it's a full-blown corporate panic signal. Just this week, the WBD board slammed the door on a massive buyout offer. Who was trying to buy them? Paramount Skydance. These guys, led by David Ellison, offered almost $24 per share. That offer was mostly cash and valued the entire WBD empire at just under $60 billion. But WBD CEO David Zaslav told them no deal. This rejection is brutal, but is part of a high-stakes game. Zaslav reportedly thinks his company is worth way more, like $30 per share or higher. If you do the math, he's shooting for a deal worth over $70 billion. That is pure high-roller confidence. The news that WBD is open for business sent the stock soaring. Shares jumped instantly by about 10%, hitting prices around $20. For investors who have been underwater since WBD was formed, this is the first good news in years. The company's market value suddenly spiked to around $50 billion. This whole situation is crazy because WBD was only created 3 years ago when the old AT&T spun off Warner Media and merged it with Discovery in a $40 billion deal. Now they might sell before the paint is even dry. Before these bids started rolling in, WBD was already planning a massive change by the middle of 2026. Think of it as two big piles. Pile number one, the entertainment goldmine. This includes the legendary Warner Bros. Studios, DC Studios, HBO, and the streaming service HBO Max. This is the sexy stuff, the content machine. Pile number two, global networks. This is where you find networks like CNN, Discovery, and TNT Sports. The big plan was to separate these two piles to unlock shareholder value. Now, because Paramount Skydance and others came knocking, Zaslav and the board have hit the pause button and are checking all the options. Keep the split going, sell the whole company, or sell just one of those two massive piles. Let's talk about the heavy favorite in this fight, Paramount Skydance. David Ellison, the CEO, is pushing hard. He already merged Paramount with Skydance earlier this year in an $8 billion deal. He is determined to combine these media titans. He's backed by his father, Larry Ellison, one of the richest guys in the world, famous for running Oracle. Analysts on Wall Street are betting big on Paramount winning this auction. They see this as the most likely outcome, even after 3 rejected bids. Ellison is expected to come back immediately with a fourth, more aggressive offer. Rumor has it he was ready to go public with his intentions to put pressure on the WBD board, which is why WBD preemptively announced they were open to a review. Corporate warfare, baby. But Paramount isn't the only shark circling this feast. WBD's board has received interest from multiple parties. This is turning into the ultimate media bidding war. Comcast is definitely taking a look. They own NBC, which includes MSNBC and Saturday Night Live. They're another gigantic traditional media player trying to figure out how to survive in the age of streaming giants. Netflix is also mentioned as an interested party, specifically looking up the Warner Bros. Studio and its massive content library. They don't want the cable networks, but they desperately want the studio assets. And don't forget the biggest tech players with endless cash. Amazon and Apple are always lurking in the shadows, ready to scoop up valuable assets like this to boost their streaming businesses. Microsoft even reportedly looked at parts of the company. So why would all these giants risk billions to buy a company that just went through a huge, painful merger? It's simple. Scale. The old media companies, the ones that rely on cable channels, are fighting for their lives against Netflix, Amazon, and Disney. They need to get huge, fast to compete in streaming. WBD has some serious crown jewels. CNN, a global news powerhouse. HBO, the premium content leader, often ranked number 3 in the US streaming behind Netflix and Amazon. DC Studios, the comic book film universe. Warner Bros. Studios, over a century of movie history. For Paramount, combining their assets with WBD's creates an unstoppable content machine. For Comcast, landing WBD would transform them into a much bigger player, especially on the streaming side. But any sale this massive runs straight into the wall of U.S. regulators. A merger of WBD and Paramount would definitely raise antitrust eyebrows at the Department of Justice and the FTC. Combining two such massive storytelling companies shrinks the number of creative voices, which regulators hate. This isn't just a business deal, it affects what Americans watch and consume culturally. But there's a political ace up David Ellison's sleeve. The connection between David Ellison's father, Larry Ellison, and President Trump is significant. Media analysts are saying this relationship could help smooth the way for a deal to pass regulatory review, especially if the current administration maintains a friendlier stance towards massive corporate consolidation. Historically, this administration has been very active in the media space, and influential tech moguls are always looking for favorable treatment. Comcast, on the other hand, faces a much rougher road. They have run into political problems with the White House in the past. Analysts say that, based on previous comments from Washington officials, a successful Comcast acquisition of almost anything right now is nearly impossible. This dramatically tilts the field in Paramount's favor, even if Comcast has the money. This sale process is going to take time. WBD has made it clear. There is no deadline and no guarantee they will actually sell. Zaslav and the board are using the competitive interest, Paramount's aggressive pursuit, the whispers from Netflix and Comcast to jack up the price. They need a bidding war to get the number they want, which is closer to $30 a share. Meanwhile, WBD is still carrying a heavy debt load, currently around $35 billion. This is down from the massive $53 billion they started with in the 2022 merger, but it's still a huge weight. The bidding war is the fastest way to solve that debt problem and reward shareholders who've suffered through years of cost-cutting and company rebranding drama. Zaslav has the board backing him to hold out for a monster price. He controls assets that rarely come up for sale. This is a once-in-a-generation chance for a competitor to bulk up and fight the streaming giants. Everyone who wants to be a major content producer needs these studios and libraries. So while WBD keeps trying to advance its original split plan, every major player in Hollywood is holding their breath waiting to see who drops the next huge bid. This isn't just about movies and TV shows. It's about the future of media consumption in America. Will we see two massive studios merge? Will a tech company swipe the film studio? Will Zaslav get his $70 billion payday? The next few months are gonna be wild. If you want to stay ahead of this corporate chaos, hit that like button now. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the moment the next massive bid drops. And ring that bell so you get notified the second I post an update. I'll catch you next time.